All right, so we're diving into network marketing today. And, we've got some really interesting stuff to look at. The material you sent, it's all in Hindi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're going beyond those typical English language sources,
Yeah.
to get a totally different view on this whole network marketing thing, this model that people, I don't know, they hype it up and they criticize it.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to figure out, like, is this the right path for you?
Right.
That's kind of the big question, right, as we go through this deep dive together.
Yeah. And what's really interesting is how the source material, especially this podcast, I think it's called Network Marketing Cossack, it really emphasizes that it's not just about, like going out there and selling stuff. It's about building trust, right, with people and like personal growth, which I think is so important.
Yeah.
Because it hints at why this whole concept is appealing to people, even with all the skepticism around it.
Right, exactly. And it's interesting how the source, it captures that like Zindagi Badal Raha energy.
Oh, yeah.
Like that feeling that network marketing is, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
And you hear phrases like that and you see like the focus on low investment, but this potential for huge rewards. And you see why people are drawn in, right?
Right.
But then there's also this negative perception. Yeah. The source talks about that too.
Right.
What do you think causes that?
Yeah.
Especially in the context of like this Hindi material.
Well, I think it's interesting to consider like the cultural context, because in many cultures, success is seen as this collective effort. It's about family, it's about community, and network marketing, with its emphasis on individual effort and self-motivation, I mean, it might clash with that traditional view a bit.
Yeah.
The source even talks about, choosing the right company and products to believe in, which again further emphasizes the individual's role in this whole model. So, you as a listener, you really have to ask yourself, how comfortable are you with that? Like with that level of individual responsibility?
That's a great point. And the source goes on to say that you have to think about, market demand, company track record, compensation plan.
Right.
All of that research is crucial. Like whether you're thinking about actually starting a business or just even like evaluating an opportunity that someone presented to you.
Right. And it all ties back to this emphasis on personal growth.
Yeah.
Which comes up again and again in the source.
Right.
Think about the skills it highlights. Leadership, communication, confidence. These are all qualities that I think, many people strive for.
Yeah.
So the question for you is like, are these areas where you personally want to grow? Could this model, with its inherent need to connect with people, to persuade them, could it actually help you develop those skills?
It's almost like network marketing is a personal development program.
Yeah.
In a way, especially because the source talks about facing rejection head on. And that resonates with a lot of these stories we hear about people overcoming obstacles to achieve their goals.
Right. But it's important to remember those feel-good success stories are just one side of the coin, right?
Right.
The source is also realistic. It points out that success, whether in network marketing or any business really, takes real work, takes dedication, the right strategy. It's not about getting rich quick. It's about building something sustainable, something that'll last.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of success, the source brought up some really inspiring figures. Eric Warr, Dexter Yeager, and even, people here in India who've made, crores.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, crores is like, it represents a significant amount of money in India.
Right.
So it's definitely used to like showcase the potential, like the financial freedom potential in this world.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But hold on, though, because while those stories are exciting, it's crucial to remember they're exceptional cases.
Yeah.
The source makes a point of emphasizing that discipline, consistent effort, persistence, those are equally important, if not more so than any financial gains. It's not just about dreaming big, right? But it's about doing the work.
That's a really important point, and I think it leads perfectly into the next part of our deep dive here. We've seen the hype. We've seen the potential for growth, but what about the actual like day-to-day realities of network marketing?
Exactly, yeah. Let's unpack this whole concept of direct selling, the multi-level structure, and, see how those aspects might fit into your life and your goals.
Exactly.
So, we've talked about this idea of direct selling, but what does that actually mean?
Right.
For you, like as a potential network marketer, the source really emphasizes cutting out that middleman.
Okay.
Connecting directly with customers, building, those personal relationships.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a powerful idea.
Mm,
But it also sounds like a lot of work.
yeah.
So does this mean like you are handling everything yourself?
Mm-hmm.
The marketing, sales, even like customer service?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
It's a real shift from like a traditional job
Hmm.
where, all those functions might be spread out across, different departments.
Right.
And that can be both empowering and challenging. The source doesn't sugarcoat it.
Mm-hmm.
You become the face of your business.
Mm-hmm.
You're responsible for building that trust and delivering on promises.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that brings us to the whole building a network thing that people talk about with MLM.
Right.
It's not just about selling products, it's about creating a team.
Right.
Yeah.
And the source seems to imply like that's where the real growth comes from.
Exactly. And this is where that multi-level structure comes in.
Yeah.
The source explains, as your team expands, they recruit more people, you're creating those multiple levels of distributors,
Right.
and your income grows based on, the sales volume of your entire network.
So that's, I think, where some people start to get worried. They think, well, isn't that how pyramid schemes work?
Yeah.
It's a common concern. How does the source address that?
Well, that's a crucial distinction to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
The source is very clear. Legitimate network marketing is about selling products or services that have real value.
Right.
A pyramid scheme is all about recruitment, with little to no emphasis on actual product sales. Think of it this way. In network marketing, the product should be the star of the show,
Right.
not the recruitment process itself.
Okay, that makes sense. So let's say you're really intrigued by this whole network marketing idea. How do you get started?
Yeah.
Like the source talks about choosing the right company. What are some key things to keep in mind?
Well, the source is really big on believing in the product you are selling.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense, right?
Right.
If you aren't genuinely passionate about the products, how are you going to convince others to be?
It's like that saying, you can't sell a product you wouldn't buy yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And beyond your own personal belief, you have to consider the market demand. Is there a need for this product or service? Right.
Who are the ideal customers? What's the competition like? You have to do your research, just like with any business venture.
Yeah. The source also mentions checking the company's track record.
Right.
How do you even go about doing that?
Well,
It can feel overwhelming, especially if you're new to this whole world.
there are several ways, you can get a better sense of a company.
Okay.
Look at how long they've been in business, Are they financially stable?
Mm.
What's their reputation like in the industry? You can often find like online reviews, news articles. You can always check with like the Better Business Bureau, see if any complaints have been filed against them.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
And then there's the compensation plan.
Right.
What should people be looking for there?
First and foremost, I would say clarity and fairness.
Okay.
You should be able to understand exactly how commissions are earned,
Right.
at what levels, and what kind of effort is required to reach those different levels. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Compare the plans from, different companies. I mean, it's your business,
Wow.
right?
It's your business.
Yeah.
I can see how this could get kind of tricky, though.
Yeah.
Some of those compensation plans can be really complex.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, a secret code you have to crack.
That's a great point. And if you don't understand it yourself, you're not going to be able to explain it to others, which is, crucial when you're building a team, right?
Right.
You want a plan that makes sense to you, that you feel good about sharing.
So we've talked about the business side, the research, the products, but the source also spends a lot of time talking about personal development.
Yeah.
It's like a core element of network marketing.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the specific skills you can develop through this model?
Well, think about it. As you build and guide your team, you're naturally developing leadership skills.
Right.
Right. And then there's communication, both verbal and written. You're constantly connecting with potential customers, recruits, refining those communication muscles.
And of course, there's the sales aspect, which, I mean, it's not just about selling products. It's selling yourself, selling your vision, right?
Oh, absolutely. You learn how to present your ideas, in a way that's compelling. You learn how to handle objections and ultimately how to close deals.
Right.
These are valuable skills that can apply to so many different areas of life, not just business.
So it really is like network marketing throws you into this whirlwind of personal development.
Yeah.
You're constantly challenged to grow, to learn new things, to step outside of your comfort zone.
That's one way to put it. And for some people, that can be truly transformative,
Mm,
can help build confidence and a sense of accomplishment.
right,
But, let's be realistic. For a lot of people, the financial aspect is a big motivator.
right.
The source talks about this potential for unlimited income. How
Mm.
realistic is that?
I mean, the unlimited part might be stretching it a bit.
Yeah.
It's still a business, right?
Right.
But there's no doubt that successful network marketers can earn substantial incomes,
Mm.
even surpassing like traditional salaries.
Right.
The question is, at what cost?
Right. Exactly. The source reminds us over and over, it's not a passive income stream.
Mm.
It takes consistent effort, dedication, a real talent for building and managing a team.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme,
No.
like some people might think.
Yeah.
But for those who are willing to put in the work,
Mhm.
it could be a rewarding path, both financially and personally.
And that brings us back to you, the listener.
Right.
As you consider all this information, think about your own motivations.
Yeah.
What are you hoping to achieve through network marketing? Is it about financial freedom, personal growth, or maybe, a combination of both?
What are your non-negotiables
Right.
when it comes to a business opportunity?
Yeah.
Do those align with what you're learning about network marketing?
That's a great question to ask yourself. And in our next segment, we'll delve even deeper.
Okay.
We'll explore some of the potential pitfalls of this model,
Right.
the ethical considerations, and help you evaluate whether it's truly the right fit for you. We've talked about the potential benefits of network marketing and the skills you can develop, but let's be real, right? Like no business model is perfect.
Right.
So what are some of the potential downsides here?
Yeah. What are some of the things that might not be so great?
Yeah. The source we're looking at, it doesn't shy away from the challenges.
Okay.
So let's get into those.
All right. Let's talk about it.
One of the biggest concerns the source brings up is the potential for unethical practices. And, this can come from both the companies and the individual distributors.
So can you give us some examples of that?
Sure,
Like
yeah.
what should listeners be wary of?
Well, you might see companies with compensation plans that are like intentionally misleading,
Oh.
or distributors who are pressuring their team to buy a ton of inventory that they can't sell.
Right.
On an individual level, you might encounter, aggressive recruiting tactics, especially online,
Right.
or wild income claims that just aren't realistic.
Yeah.
And sadly, those kinds of practices, they end up hurting people financially and damaging the reputation of the whole industry.
Right. So it sounds like ethics are really important in this world.
Yeah.
It's not just about making money, but it's about building a sustainable business, the right way.
Exactly. And Source emphasizes that you need to choose a company with a strong ethical track record.
Okay.
And then, just as importantly, uphold those values yourself
Mm-hmm.
as a distributor. You're asking people to trust you, to
Right.
join your team, to invest their time and money. That
Right.
trust is everything.
And that makes a lot of sense. And it connects back to like that negative perception around network marketing
Yeah.
that we talked about, earlier.
Yeah.
How can potential network marketers avoid like those ethical traps?
Right.
What are some red flags to look out for?
I think a big one is any company that promises unrealistic returns,
Okay.
or pushes you to focus heavily on recruitment rather than actual sales.
Okay. So focus on the product.
Yeah. Yeah. Pay attention to the company culture too.
Okay.
Do they talk about ethical behavior?
Right.
Do their values align with yours?
It sounds like you also need to like trust your instincts, right?
Mhm.
If something feels off about a company or an individual, it probably is.
Yeah, your gut feeling is valuable. And don't hesitate to do your research. Ask tough questions, even like consult with a legal or financial professional if needed.
Yeah.
That due diligence up front can save you a lot of trouble.
The source also talks about the challenge of facing rejection, which, I mean, it makes sense.
Yes.
Any sales-related job, you're gonna hear no quite a bit.
That's true. You're going to hear no a lot, especially when you're first starting out. But the source points to, successful network marketers as examples of people who have developed that resilience. They don't see
Yeah.
no as a personal failure, but as a stepping stone to the next opportunity.
So it's not just about being good at sales. It's about like having the right mindset.
Absolutely. The source stresses the importance of developing, strong communication and interpersonal skills
Hmm.
so you can navigate those difficult conversations effectively. It's not about being a smooth talker, but it's about really listening, understanding people's needs and explaining how your product or opportunity might benefit them.
So it's about a genuine connection,
Yeah.
not just like trying to make a quick sale.
Exactly. When you approach network marketing with authenticity and a genuine desire to help others, you're more likely to build trust and create those lasting relationships,
Mm.
which are crucial for long-term success.
So ultimately, it comes down to a personal choice, right?
Yeah,
After looking at all this information, is network marketing the right fit for you?
that's the question, each listener needs to answer.
Yeah.
We've explored the potential benefits, the challenges, the skills involved, and importantly, the ethical considerations.
Right.
Now it's time to reflect. What are your personal goals?
Yeah.
What are your values? What's your risk tolerance?
Maybe this deep dive has challenged some of your preconceived notions about network marketing. As we've seen, there's a lot more to it than meets the eye.
Yeah, it's a world full of possibilities, but it also demands careful consideration, a commitment to ethical practices.
Mm.
And of course, the willingness to put in the work.
Right.
The choice, as always, is yours.
So there you have it. We've taken a deep dive into the world of network marketing, guided by the insights from your Hindi language source material.
We encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and, as you move forward, remember that knowledge is your most valuable asset.
Stay informed, stay curious, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. Until our next deep dive, keep seeking, keep learning, and keep growing.